What's good everyone, it's Zigzag here, welcome back to another Geoguessr video, and welcome to a very exciting little one about all the countries that are coming to Google Street View very soon. Now there was a really long gap between the addition of the Dominican Republic and the addition of Rwanda. So the Dominican Republic came out I believe in 2018 or 19, and then Rwanda came out in 2022. In that time we got no new countries. Fortunately, in addition to Panama and Qatar, a bunch more countries are coming, so I'm going to tell you guys about that today. A lot of these announcements are brand new and hot off the press, so very exciting indeed. Firstly, we're going to talk about Bosnia and Herzegovina. This is a country which people have been longing for in Geoguessr for a long time, especially because it's the only Balkan country that's missing still, I guess apart from Kosovo, and you know, it's a really big country and one that is very beautiful as well. Shoutouts to Virtual Streets for the article, but Google announced that they're going to be driving in these cities in this year. I think they're going to finish up the coverage in September, so that's pretty exciting stuff. We could probably hope to see it in 2024. I'm not so sure about that. It may drop in 2025. Depends how Google's feeling. But regardless, that's super exciting. And people are also talking about the fact that that might mean the return of the Google cars to the Balkans. So obviously, we have Generation 4 in Croatia and in Slovenia, but still Serbia, Montenegro, and North Macedonia are all missing coverage. It would be super nice to have Generation 4 in those countries. And of course, that would make the game a whole lot harder as well. Now, before we discuss the next country, which just got announced, I wanted to tell you guys that I am hosting a tournament tonight. It is a Teams World Cup, and it starts at 7 a.m. Adelaide time, which is this evening, so in a few hours after this video comes out, at 9:30 p.m. in Germany, and 3:30 in the afternoon for Eastern Americans, and 12:30 for Western Americans. So yeah, it's going to be a super hype tournament. The base prize pool is $200 US, but if you guys want to donate more, then we'll make it a really big one. And cheekily, I'm playing for Canada and Australia because I am technically a Canadian citizen, so by my own rules, I'm allowed to. This was the Canadian guy's idea, so don't shoot me for it. But I think it's going to be a really fun tournament anyway, and I hope you guys really enjoy checking that one out on my Twitch, which will be linked in the description. This is the bracket for the tournament, so you can see we've got a lot of the biggest countries in Geoguessr competing, and yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see how that one pans out. Let me also mention that I've got a video coming out in a few hours, which is a real banger. I don't want you guys to miss it. I'm double dropping tonight, so definitely keep that in mind. And also, Chicago Geographer is hosting a pre-qualies tournament 3 hours before my tournament goes live. So as you watch this video, there's a good chance that that will be live as well, and you can see who's going to qualify for these missing spots in the bracket. Okay, now let's move on to the next country. Sorry for the aside there, but I think it was important to say. And here we go. This is actually a huge announcement because we have Google Street View coming to Oman. So we can see that the Google trucks are already there. They're using the white Hiluxes, which are already common in the Gulf states and in Africa. You can see on this map that they are doing the major city centers first and then covering the entire country, which will apparently last until 2025. So I assume we're going to get fairly full coverage in Oman, which is going to be really nice. It's a big country. It's not super interesting, but there are some very beautiful areas. So hopefully they go to the mountains, which is what we really want to see in Oman. And yeah, hopefully that paves the way for Saudi Arabia to get it, for Bahrain to get it, for Kuwait to get it. That will be really exciting. But for now, Oman is a big announcement. And yeah, just exciting to have another big country or medium-sized country announced for the game. So this is another picture in Oman. Then we have this, of course, I've talked about on the channel before, but they are also currently driving in Namibia. So super exciting stuff. We're getting 3 significant countries that people have asked for in the past. Probably Bosnia the most exciting, but the other 2 super exciting as well. And yeah, Namibia is going to be fantastic. Again, it's in the white Hilux, so it's going to be, you know, there is car meta, but at the same time, it is car meta that exists in other countries. That's at least something we could say about it. But yeah, Namibia, they're driving the whole country as well. So we should see some really interesting and diverse coverage there. Definitely a beautiful country as well. Okay, then we just have a few more smaller updates before the end of the video. For example, they are driving a bit of Generation 4 in Mongolia at the moment, and with a smaller Google car as well than the initial one, so that's at least a positive. But as you can see, because the camera's kind of mounted not too high, we are going to see the car inside the coverage. Yeah, very exciting. Like the car with the stickers on it. I wonder if they'll be visible on Street View, probably. Mongolia has always been easy anyway, so hopefully it's good for NMPZ at least. And then we also have to talk about a few countries at the end here, which are being driven, but we just don't know if they're ever going to be released. So if you've been watching Geoguessr for some years, you might remember that there used to be some coverage in Vietnam, which was on motorbike. Well, apparently that was like accidentally released or something, and they've actually covered the entirety of Vietnam, but they've deleted all the coverage. And so basically, we're just hoping that Vietnam is eventually going to get released. Now, the interesting thing about Vietnam is that Apple Maps is currently covering it. So there is kind of hope that they might release this Generation 4 in response to Apple Maps' coverage. Because if you remember, Apple Maps first drove in Germany, and then Google responded by releasing Germany. Indeed, I think actually the reason that we're getting new countries on Google Street View is because of the competition from Apple Maps. So it is really, really great to see. And I have a video coming out on Apple Maps very soon where I play Geoguessr in Apple Maps. So stay tuned for that video. Then we also had an Apple car spotted in India. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean anything for us. However, it may mean that Google decides to use a Google camera in India, because the main issue was Indian-owned companies were the ones who needed to be driving in India. And Apple has decided to give Apple, like an official Apple Street View mast or camera to the Indian companies. So we may see Google follow suit. I don't think it's necessarily likely, but hopefully that ends up happening. Yeah, again, shouts to Virtual Streets. And then I think this is the last one for the video, but there has been also Generation 4 spotted a long time ago in Malta. So we're just waiting for that to release. I think it was actually in 2022 or 2021. So it'll come out eventually, presumably, but just like Korea, we're kind of just waiting on it at this point. And that is it for the video. Here is a red road in Oklahoma, which I had open in my last tab. So that is it for the video, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Do discuss what you'd love to see, put out in the comments one day. I think Georgia is a country that's realistically probably going to eventually get it, and I'm really keen for. But Morocco, Algeria are also ones I was talking about with other people about ones we'd really love to see. Of course, China being the ultimate grail, but we'd probably have to wait at least 10 or 20 years for that if it ever happens. But that is it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the tournament in the description. Linked is my Twitch, and check out CG's tournament beforehand, and stay tuned for the video coming out tonight. You already know, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.